Good evening, everyone. My name is Shailesh Shukla. I'm your history faculty. Today, we are going to discuss one of the most important topic that is related to mains. As you know, in mains, the topic called contributors and contributions from different parts of India is the most relevant one. From that one, I'm going to present in front of you a topic named relevance of Mahatma Gandhi. Relevance of Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi, one of the greatest freedom fighter, the father of modern India, the maker of modern India, is one of the very important political figure regarding your history, especially modern Indian history, and that is also important for the essay paper, right? And Gandhian ideology is much more important in GS paper 4. So overall, this topic is one of the most important topic. So we need to discuss it. What are the experiments done by Mahatma Gandhi? What is the relevance of Gandhian ideology in the freedom struggle, and also its impact in 21st century, right? So let's get into it. The very first thing that we need to understand is question arises. There is always a question mark. Okay, what is the relevance? Or history means a set of WH questions. History always says or starts with the WH questions, right? So what is the relevance of Mahatma Gandhi? The very first thing is, in this ever-changing and fast-moving world, the world is stuck between different actions and reactions. Today, we have lots of political, economic, social, cultural problems that is ongoing throughout every nook and corner of the world. Because of that, Gandhian ideology that is being reviewed in today's world. Now let's try to understand how Gandhi as a leader evolved, how Gandhian ideology has evolved, and how it can be used to solve the problems of modern world or modern India, right? So let's get started with the context. Gandhi can be regarded as, or Gandhi has propounded the gospel of truth, non-violence, and tolerance, right? The trio of these three terms, truth, non-violence, and tolerance. Gandhi experimented with these three things in a time when world was going through most tumultuous times in the history. The period of dictators, the person like Mussolini, the person like Hitler, the person, the Japanese dictatorship that was going on in Asia. So that was a much more a testing time for the Gandhian ideology that depended itself upon the truth, non-violence, and tolerance, right? So Gandhi did some experiments in the world. What were the experiments done by Gandhi that are much more relevant in today's period, or that became the ideal of modern India, the ideals which were included in the Indian constitution? The very first experiment was, Gandhiji most probably was the first leader. Gandhiji most probably was the first leader who talked about communal harmony / Hindu Muslim unity. Gandhiji was most probably the first person who talked about communal harmony and Hindu Muslim unity and weaved it into a political clot that benefited Indian freedom struggle. As you know, Gandhiji has experimented with the Hindu-Muslim unity during the Khilafat movement. Khilafat movement. Some of his critics say that Khilafat movement is an extraterritorial issue that Gandhiji could have avoided, but Gandhiji saw this Khilafat issue as an opportunity to forge Hindu-Muslim unity, right? So, this was the first experiment done by the Gandhiji regarding the communal harmony, and Gandhiji was the first person who recognized the diversity of India, the idea of unity, which was much more relevant in India at that period of time, and which he continued to uphold till his death. Even he was shot or assassinated during the last 2 years, he remained adamant regarding the Hindu-Muslim unity. He was ardently against the formation of Pakistan, the state which was formed on the basis of religion. So we were the first person who politically used the Hindu-Muslim unity. Second thing, while talking about his experiments, Gandhiji was the first person, most probably the first person who used religion in politics. Religion in politics in positive way. Religion in politics in positive way, right? The misuse of religion in politics is not new for India, right? We have seen the relevance of or the experimentation of religion in politics. For example, using of Shivaji festivals, Ganesh festivals by Bal Gangadhar Tilak in for the promotion of nationalism among the Indian masses. But rather than doing better, it also showed the seed of communalism in Indian politics. Gandhiji did just opposite. Gandhiji used religion in politics not in the way of the symbolism, not in the way of the symbolism, but he used religion in politics for the purpose of inculcating moral and ethical values. Moral and ethical values. He propounded Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai आपस में सब भाई भाई. He propounded ईश्वर अल्लाह तेरो नाम सबको सम्मत दे भगवान, right? He propounded and intermixed different moral and ethical ideas from different religions and tried to make it uniform, try to make it the most practical as per the Indian traditions. So Gandhiji can be known as the person who used religion in politics, that also in the most positive way, right? Third thing, while talking about the Gandhiji, you might be knowing the Gandhiji was a Vaishnava person. Gandhi was a Vaishnava person. Gandhi talked about the idea of the Ram Rajya. Ram Rajya. What does this Ram Rajya means? If you see modern politicians, Ram is one of the most revered figure in the political arena, in the political masses. But what the politicians do is, they prefer the symbolism of Ram rather than his ideals. Gandhiji always proposed about the ideals of Ram. Ideals of Ram rather than just symbolism. So that is the difference we need to know. If Gandhi was there in India in the having the issue of Ram Rajya or the issue of Ram Janmabhoomi case, he could have presented that case in quite different form, right? Many civil rights groups or many Gandhians, they try to present this viewpoint. What would have happened if Gandhiji was alive in today's period? How could he have tackled the issues, right? So that is the thing you need to understand. Being a Vaishnav, having the idea of Ram Rajya, Gandhiji preferred the ideals rather than just symbolism. So these are the things that you need to understand, right? Second thing, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the second thing. What is the second thing? Look, Gandhiji, by using the religion, Gandhiji, by experimenting with the religion, Gandhiji also talked about the ideas of humanism. The ideas humanism, the modern ideas of humanism. What is the humanism? Humanism means placing humanity above everything, having a sense of region, inculcating a sense of modernity while dealing in a polity, while dealing in a society, while dealing in a person or individual basis. For example, he was against the untouchability, but he was supporter of caste system. He was supporter of caste system, but he was against the idea of untouchability. So we need to understand where Gandhiji stood and different types of issues that are still relevant, that are still practiced in today's period. So Gandhiji was an ardent follower of idea of humanism. Gandhiji was also an anarchist. Gandhiji also experimented with this idea, anarchist. What does Gandhian anarchism means? Gandhian anarchism tells us about that a person should be questioning each and every action of the state. A state must be questioned in each and every case, right? Otherwise, there is a very thin line between a lawful state and lawless state, a just state and an authoritarian state, right? So we need to understand it. Gandhiji was an ardent anarchist. At the same time, Gandhiji can be also talked about as a global citizen. Gandhiji can be also talked about a global citizen. He experimented with those things. A person who was born in a conservative Baniya family with a strong economic background, a person who longed for law education. He went to England, right? He went to England for the law education. He did his professional experiment in South Africa, fought against apartheid regime, fought for the rights of the Indian migrants, fought for the rights of the Indian businessmen, fought for the rights of the black people residing there, and just propagated the same philosophy or promoted the same lessons that he learned from South Africa in the Indian freedom struggle after his arrival on 9th January 1915, right? So let's get into it. Humanism, anarchy, and he can be also experimented as a global citizen. You can take the example of he used to present each and every cause. He used to present his views on different causes. He was against the World War. He also wrote letters to the Hitler telling him the ill impacts of the war. If war was not stopped, what damages could war do upon the humanity? So we need to understand each and everything. The first experiment that was done by the Gandhiji was regarding this overall thing, right? Let's try to understand the second one. What is the second experiment that is being done by the Gandhiji, right? So we'll try to understand. Second experiment is experiment number 2. Gandhiji experimented with trio ideas of non-cooperation, civil disobedience, sorry, this part of board is not working, civil disobedience, and the last one is the Quit India movement. What does it mean? What are the trio ideas of non-cooperation, civil disobedience, and Quit India movement? Look, Gandhiji had already done his internship regarding freedom struggle in South Africa. And Gandhism means the biggest power or the greatest power regarding to Gandhism is the ideas of truth, non-violence, and tolerance, but these ideas can be supported only with the mass mobilization. If there is no mass mobilization, these ideas are worthless, right? So Gandhiji, after entering into India in the very segmental way, in the regional way, he had done some experiments like the Champaran Satyagraha, the Kheda Satyagraha, and the Ahmedabad mill strike. By doing these three experiments, what he did was he awared the masses, he spread the awareness among the Indian masses. He brought together different sections of the society. Like by Champaran Satyagraha, Gandhiji brought the farmers, the poor into as a political mass, right? Second, by Ahmedabad mill strike, he brought two great sections together. One is the workers, and other one is the businessman, whom Gandhi used to call trusteeship. Whom Gandhi used to tell them, you have to follow the idea of trusteeship. So he brought these workers and businessmen by engaging in the Ahmedabad mill strike. And third major experiment before this All India or the mass movement was the Kheda Satyagraha. Kheda Satyagraha was also it also benefited Gandhi by bringing back the farmers, and all these three experiments before the trial of non-cooperation, civil disobedience, and Quit India movement. What Gandhiji did was Gandhiji politicized Indian masses. He brought different sections of the society that, look, you need to understand what is going on in India. You are being exploited. Dadabhai Nauroji had already written in 1868 the book called Poverty and Non-British Rule. He told that what type of drain of wealth has been going on in India at that period of time. You need to be aware. You need to be sensible, and united we stay, divided we fail. Right? So Gandhiji was the first person who brought this theme, and at the same time Gandhiji also realized for the first time during this experiment that India lives in villages. Where does India live? India lives in villages. It was not that there was not any mass movement before Gandhi. The Swadeshi movement that was organized in 1905 post-partition of Bengal, right? There were mass movements, but those mass movements were confined to the areas of urban people, right? Or the urban areas. Gandhiji for the first time put a point of view that, look, India lives in villages. If you want freedom, if you want to rescue people from political, economic, social and cultural exploitation, what you need to do is you need to aware the people or the masses who live in the villages, the working classes, the women, the untouchables, and under that Gandhiji also worked for the emancipation of women. Emancipation of women. Gandhiji was most probably the first person who talked about the gender equality. Emancipation of women. We talked about the gender equality, right? Gender equality. He motivated even his own wife, Kasturba Bai, to lead the movements. When Gandhiji was leading the movement of Champaran, when he was having political meetings, Kasturba Bai was engaged in making the women aware about the cleanliness habits. As you know, Gandhiji is a figure of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. So what he did was he engaged Kasturba Bai in managing the cleanliness drive in the Champaran Satyagraha. He made Kasturba Bai to make the women's literate, to present or to make literacy programs, to run literacy program, to make the women aware, to make them able to read and write and understand the political scenarios and become a very relevant tool of the freedom struggle of that period of time, right? So Gandhiji was also played a very main role in emancipation of women. Not only that, during these three things, Gandhiji also talked about the, you know, the upliftment of vulnerables, upliftment of the vulnerables, upliftment of the disadvantaged, upliftment of the untouchables, upliftment of the untouchables, right? He used to produce lots of articles, lots of magazines. His magazine, he called the untouchable people Harijan. His magazines like the Indian people, Indian Opinion, right? So what he did was, he wrote so many of articles, he presented his opinions regarding these things. You might have heard about the Gandhian talisman. And what is that? Gandhian talisman tells that while making a policy, always keep into the mind whether your policy decisions are of any value for the last person standing in the queue. If the person standing last in the queue is being benefited by your policy, that means your policy is worthy, right? So Gandhiji evolved these all policies, awakened the masses, talked about the disadvantaged, vulnerables, made them aware, right? Spread the education, the ideas of health, cleanliness during these three great movements that extended from 1922, 1946, or you can tell about the 1947. So this was the second experiment that was done by the Gandhi. Gandhi means the mass leader. Even in today's world, the Gandhian ideas of non-cooperation, civil disobedience and the Quit India movement, these things are still practiced by the leaders. They try to imitate Gandhi if they are protesting against any of the ill policy presented by the government of India, right? So that is the second thing we need to understand. Third experiment done by Gandhi. What was the third experiment that was done by Gandhi? Experiment number 3. The idea of self-reliance. The idea of self-reliance. Gandhiji presented the idea of self-reliance. As you know, when Gandhi was there in India or the 20th century, India was colony of Britain. Or you can say India was subservient in political, economic, social and cultural matter. And this subservience or the exploitation of the Indians was possible only because of the drain of wealth or drain of the resources that was being done by the Britishers from India. When Gandhiji entered into the scene, what he did was, he promoted the people to become self-reliant. He wanted the people to adopt the ideas of Swadeshi, the ideas of boycotting foreign goods, the idea of boycotting foreign schools, foreign courts, right? He wanted the people to become self-dependent. For that purpose, what he did was, in the self-reliance way, he used the idea of khadi, right? He used the idea of khadi. He wanted, by using khadi, he was trying to promote the cottage industry of India, right? And by reviving the cottage industry of India, he was trying to reverse the ill impact of deindustrialization that was being done by the Britishers. What Britishers did was, Britishers destroyed India's agrarian prosperity. Britishers destroyed India's industrialized economy, and Britishers just made Indian economy slave of the British economy, right? So Gandhiji for the first time talked about the self-reliance. He talked about that we need to reverse the ill impacts of the deindustrialization, and only by becoming self-reliance we can inculcate, or you can just groom the idea of self-dependence. Only then people will have confidence in themselves, and then only they will participate in the lots of mass movements that are being organized by the Gandhi. So Gandhiji was of this view, right? By promoting this cottage industry, Gandhiji was promoting the local entrepreneurship. Right? Gandhiji was of the view of local entrepreneurship. Gandhiji wanted this theme to be inculcated in each and every political domain of India. So Gandhiji experimented with this thing. Even today, if you remember, in 2020 during the Corona pandemic, when the world trade had stopped, when there was problem in the supply chain, India was facing lots of problem in its manufacturing sector. Prime Minister Narendra Modi talked about the Atmanirbhar Bharat. Atmanirbhar Bharata. What is this Atmanirbhar Bharata? Atmanirbhar Bharata is the same thing that is the self-reliant India. That is the India that is self-sufficient in itself. The India that is engaged in small and cottage industries, medium industries. India that is self-sufficient in itself, right? So it talks about the self-sufficiency. Right? So that is the third experiment that was being done by the Gandhi. Let's get it on the next one. Experiment number 4. Gandhi's fourth experiment was the idea of especially the non-violence. The idea of the non-violence. Now, what is this idea of non-violence? As everyone knows, non-violence, ahimsa. Ahimsa means not doing physical damage to anyone, right? Ahimsa tells us about not doing physical damage to anyone. But is it limited to just physical damage? The answer is no. Gandhian idea of non-violence is just not the limitation to the physical violence, but this non-violence means just pushing away the or you can say it, Gandhian idea of non-violence is, it is not only talking about the physical damage, but it is also talking about the social damage, cultural damage, psychological damage, and also the individual, right? Individual damage means the damage to the self-respect of the person. Right? So Gandhian idea of non-violence is not related with only the physical damage or the physical impact. So what Gandhiji talked about is, if you want to resolve any of the issue, what you do is kindly resort to negotiation rather than physical attacks. Because when you attack physically a person, you are not damaging him physically, but also socially, mentally, culturally, that is the psychologically, right? So Gandhiji talked about the idea of non-violence, and he told that non-violence is the weapon of mightiest, right? Non-violence and truth are the weapons of mightiest. The weakest one always resort to the violence. So look how he experimented with these things. The person, he knew very well that if you want to fight with the British regime, you cannot fight them with weapons, because they are much more but they are much more powerful regarding the weapons. How can you defeat them? If you want to defeat them, first of all you need to do is you need to make their hearts and mind change. And if you want to make their hearts and mind change, you need to opt the idea of non-violence, right? So these are the ways that Gandhiji tried to project in front of the things. Next important thing what Gandhiji did was, Gandhiji experimented, that the fifth experiment is the experiment of compassion. Compassion and benevolence. Compassion and benevolence. What is the compassion and benevolence? Compassion and benevolence means Gandhiji never followed the idea of tit for tat. Gandhiji was of the view that an eye for an eye makes whole world, sorry, this is not working, whole world blind. An eye for an eye makes whole world blind. So Gandhiji was the idea, Gandhiji follows this idea. So what Gandhiji did was, Gandhiji was becoming compassionate to the individuals, to the every person living in the world. Either he is person of India, either he is person of different country, either he is person from different religious, social, economic, racial background. So we need to understand his compassion covers equality or equally across different religion, different caste, different race, different sex, and he accepted the compassion in the form of the diversity in India, right? Diversity of India. So we need to understand, he talked about the compassion by also promoting the, the closing down of the slaughterhouses. He also talked about the slaughterhouses, but not in a political manner how today things are being done, right? So that is also one of the experiment. Sixth experiment, you can talk about the simplicity. Simplicity. Gandhiji experimented with the ideas of simplicity. Gandhiji was from a rich background. His father was Prime Minister of the Kathiawar state in the Gujarat, right? So Gandhiji, it was not that Gandhiji could not have afforded to wear three-piece suit. Gandhi, you might have seen the many viral pictures of photos of the Gandhiji wearing three-piece suit while serving as a legal professional in South Africa, right? But when Gandhiji entered into the political arena, especially in the Indian freedom struggle, what Gandhiji did was, Gandhiji took the attire of the poor people. The attire of the poor people give many messages, right? The very first message that Gandhiji did was, Gandhiji revealed what the first message, simplicity means minimalist approach. Just a minute. It's minimalist approach. Minimalist approach. What this minimalist approach means? Minimalist approach means Gandhi used to say that there is sufficient for everyone's need but not greed. Gandhiji said there is sufficient for everyone's need but not for greed. That means if you want to survive in this world, there is sufficient. But if you want to rejoice this world, if you want to enjoy the things at your disposal, if you don't want or if you are not concerned about wage and means, you are going to suffer. So Gandhiji was an ardent, environmentalist. Gandhiji was against the ideas of consumerism. Against the idea of consumerism propounded by the Western industrialization. by Western industrialization. So Gandhiji was of this vision. You know, in simplicity view, you can also say that, see, he was also against the excessive industrialization. He wanted, it's not like that he didn't have rich friends. He had a very good friends, the Tatas, the Birlas, right, the Oberois were the good friends of Gandhiji. But what it did was, he wanted these people to be just work on the idea of trusteeship. Means you develop an institution, you develop a business framework, but don't act like a capitalist person just exploiting the people. Trusteeship means a person is having the resources of different persons at his place, that is, he need to secure it. At the same time, he need to expand the resources for the benefit of the different people. So the Gandhian simplicity means the minimalist approach, the environmentalist, the sustainability, right, sustainability, and these every aspect of this simplicity, you know, it leads toward the, you know, that is the conservation of environment, and sustainability. So Gandhiji experimented with these things. The most of these 6 things that were being experimented with the Gandhi, or experimented by the Gandhi. Now let's try to examine its relevance in today's world. How relevant are these ideas, or how can modern generation people can use these 6 ideas? Okay, so let's talk about them one by one. First lesson. Now those are the experiments. Now second part is the lessons, or you can say its relevance. How can its relevance be drawn? The first experiment of Hindu-Muslim unity. How this Indo-Muslim unity can be relevant in today's period. You know, now we live in free India. We have our own constitution, right? That governs, that is called as a law of the land. It secures the rights of the individual, the rights of the minorities, and right to equality to each and every citizen of India. By forging Hindu-Muslim unity, by promoting Hindu-Muslim unity, the peace and tranquility within the nation can be secured, right? The diversity of India can be secured, right? The united front can be developed against any internal or external problem that would arrive at any time in the future, right? So Gandhian idea of Hindu-Muslim unity, or the idea of communal harmony is very much more relevant in today's world. As you know, there are many cases of communal incidents going on throughout the country. The recent incident of Bahraich, communal incident of Bahraich in Uttar Pradesh, these things are disheartening. Gandhiji has already experimented with these all things. We need to learn the lessons what Gandhiji has given us. The first thing is the communal harmony, the use of moral and ethical values of religion in public life. By making the Hindu-Muslim unity, we can use the moral and ethical principles or values of the religion in every common man's life, right? Every common man's life. So this is the thing that we can do, or that is relevant in today's time, right? By forging the Hindu-Muslim unity, we can strengthen the socio-cultural unity plus secular fabric of India, right? So these are the facts that you need to understand. Second thing, as per Gandhi, or the second lesson that we learned by the Gandhian experiment, was the idea of, that is non-violence, right? What teaches this idea of non-violence, or how non-violence is relevant to today's way? As you know, in today's world, we are sitting on weapons of mass destruction. There are lots of chemical weapons. There are different forms of war games are going on in the world. The recently concluded Hamas and Israel issue, the ongoing Russia and Ukraine war, right? The different forms of sectarian violence that are going on in going on in the world are making Gandhi one of the most relevant ideology in today's period. Had Gandhi been alive in today's period, he would have brought the different varying factions on a table, helped them to get away from violence and brought them in the negotiating way, right? So what you need to understand is he would have adopted the idea of non-violence. Non-violence here means, just we have learned that non-violence does not only means the physical violence, but it is also the psychological, social, moral and mental violence. So Gandhiji would have observed violence by using the idea of non-violence. He could have brought the different varying factions together, and he would have made the world a peaceful place for living, a sane place for humanity, a place where the disadvantaged, the vulnerables, the women could have been brought or could have got the same equal moral rights, and this world could have been made an ideal state just like in heaven, right? So the second lesson, non-violence, is much more relevant in today's way. Third, let's talk about the political protest by the ideas of non-cooperation, civil disobedience, non-cooperation, civil disobedience. Quit India, quit India was against the Britishers, but the ideas of quit India in today's period is relevant as if you are against the plans and policies of the government that is being operated by any political party. If Gandhiji would have been here, he would have adopted this idea of non-cooperation. He would have adopted the idea of civil disobedience against the regime by adopting the ideas like fasting, protesting to its optimum point. That also in the most non-violent way. So Gandhiji's experiment of non-cooperation is much more relevant to today's period. As you know, the ongoing the protests by the farmers regarding the MSP, right? Regarding the MSP bills. In today's period also, they are sitting for a long period of time in the borders, near Delhi. The farmers protest in 2020 during the corona pandemic. So issues were there. Farmer adopted the Gandhian ideology of that period of time, right? Fourth one, how Gandhi is relevant. If you are concerned about the minimalist approach or the simplicity, it is still relevant in today's world. As you know, today we are facing the issues of materialism. The materialistic society is getting lots of problems, inventing lots of problems in today's world. Families are dividing. The nuclear family is challenging the society. The moral issues in the society is getting degraded day by day. By taking this idea of simplicity, we can conserve the societal features. We can conserve the ideas, the moral values. By taking the minimalist approach, we can also conserve the environment. We can tackle the problems associated with climate change. We can tackle the ideas of the ill impacts of the global warming, right? And we can also talk about the conservation of flora and fauna of the today's world. So minimalist approach is also one of the most important by using this simplicity. Fifth one, the Gandhian idea of the self-reliance. It is most relevant in today's period. It is most relevant in the today's period. How the self-reliance is relevant in today's period? As you know, the economic shocks that we faced during the corona pandemic, that forced the government of India to adopt the policy of Atmanirbhar Bharat. That Atmanirbhar Bharat led India in manufacturing, the ideas of Make in India, right? Making India a manufacturing hub of the world. That means generating lots of jobs. generating lots of opportunities, making Indian people aware of the goods that can be produced by the Indian people in themselves, and rather than becoming an import-centric nation to becoming a export-centric nation, right? So Gandhian ideology of that is self-reliance, having the basic Swadeshi, right, and that is by ruling in the world by becoming an import-centric nation to the export-centric nation. So that is also a thing, option number 5. And option number 6, that is a compassion. Compassion. Gandhian idea of compassion is much more relevant in today's period. If you see the wars, the displacement, the refugee problem in today's period, compassion is the most needed in today's period. So Gandhi is most relevant during regarding this compassion. If Gandhiji would have been there, he would have provided the helping hand to the Rohingya issues, the issues of the sectarian violence going on in the West Asia, right, between Shias, Sunnis, the people, the displaced people because of the Russia-Ukraine war. Gandhiji would have helped these people. And if you know about the Nobel Prize winning group, that is the Doctors Without Borders, Doctor Without Borders, right? So these are the organizations who adopted Gandhiji in different way in Gandhiji by adopting the Gandhian as per his ideals and helping the world to make a better place for the living. So these are the things. In this way, Gandhi is the most relevant in today's world, right? Gandhiji is it's not confined to just India. He is a universal figure, right? As there are many persons who try to imitate or inculcate Gandhian principles during their own struggle. The person like African Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, right? The person that is the ongoing civil rights movement in America, the protest of Black Lives Matters, right? The Manipuri women, Irom Sharmila, who protested against the APSPA Act in India, right? All of them use the Gandhian way of protesting. You might be knowing about the Aung San Suu Kyi, right? Aung San Suu Kyi of Myanmar. You might be knowing about the Kailash Satyarthi, the Nobel laureate. Every one of them adopted the Gandhian ideals to achieve their goals, to make this world a better place of living, rather than demeaning the wrongdoers, to changing their hearts and bringing them in the self-esteem. They always make some of the ideals true, that is be the change you want in others. Be the change you want in others. If you want to change the world, you need to change yourself. So in this fast changing and ever changing world, in this fast paced ever changing world, when world is going towards the most tumultuous phase, Gandhi is most relevant in today's period. If you want to make the world a better place of living, you cannot underscore or you cannot underestimate the Gandhian principles. You need to be much more aware with the Gandhian principles, and they are the easiest. Gandhian principles are the easiest and sweetest way and means of making this world a peaceful place for living, conserving humanity, promoting prosperity, and a place that is living for all. Okay, so that is the class for today. We have talked about the relevance of Gandhi. So we need to understand that this topic is the most relevant in different sections of UPSC mains examination. One is the history, second is the essay paper, and third one is also your paper GS paper number 4, right? It will help you a lot. I hope this class was beneficial for you. That much for today. Thank you everyone.